I'm gonna do a commentary, live, the New World Order, Max and Robert. Even though it says and Brett, um, sadly Brett wasn't able to make it on this live stream. I'm gonna do commentary, but Max's live stream video goes for um 2 hours and 9 minutes. So I'll do the I'll do the commentary in different parts. I cover the whole lot in a number of videos. Okay, here we go, and you can see the start. Yeah. I typed that. It should be time as Max is almost late, and that was just before they went live. Okay.
Centering in on you. Why is it doing that? Mushroom. Oh, I guess we're live. Oh. Yeah. Greetings, all. Felix Jones. Felix Jones coming to you. Max Power allowed me to make the intro. We got our own rock for the New World Order. The topic tonight. We got our colloidal silver. Oh, and when those nuclear bombs start falling, we have survival shield. Oh, yeah. We got all that. Storable foods. I have 20 years of storable foods. You can buy that on my website. www.conartist.com. Conartist.com. And here we go. Introducing Notebreaker.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be here
Hi,
again.
Rob.
Amen. Tonight's topic is the New World
Order.
New World Order. We're going to talk about that. And I guess, oh no, I guess they just shut down your channel, Max. Oh no, it's back. Okay, good.
No, we're back. We're back. Just had to get rid of that alternate personality over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do in my spare time.
Amen.
Brett will be coming, hopefully eventually. Right now he's still sort of working. He's packing up and on his way home. That's how that is.
Sadly, Brett wasn't able to make it for any of the of this live stream, but maybe next time.
Okay. Well, today's subject, some people might label a conspiracy theory. But we're not going to talk about conspiracy theory. We're going to talk about conspiracy fact. And as Bible believers, you know the word conspiracy appears 10 times in the Bible. And the word conspired appears 19 times. So there are real conspiracies. And so I guess we're going to talk a little bit today about Satan's conspiracy, how Satan is conspiring to take over the world, which is basically his goal, and always has been, and how it really is a goal of the devil and people that serve him to try to take over the world and enslave the population to Satan. And this is not a made-up conspiracy theory by people with tinfoil hats.
Hey.
This is a real thing. The Bible speaks about this. So this is not something that we as Christians should shy away from. We as Christians should speak about this because the Bible speaks about it.
Yep.
The Bible does speak about a one-world government in which the devil takes over the entire world someday. Now, this is the good part. That's after the rapture. So we as Christians don't have to worry about that. But what is it? And I think we as Christians, we need to understand what it is and look at it biblically, but also look at it historically and look at all the facts. Right, Max?
Oh, yes. What are the facts that I want to make up?
Yeah, right.
Food.
Right. And so that's why people...
The elements of this actually going on right now. And
right.
I mean, George Bush is famous, the original George Bush is famous for two things. No new taxes. And the other speech that he made was bringing in the New World Order.
Yeah.
Calvin points to life. New World Order.
Scumbag.
Yeah.
I don't like the
So
New World
this,
Order,
this
but
thing,
it will
in
happen.
these last days, there's been this great big economic boom for what they call preppers, doomsday preppers, and how even people that aren't even saved, they're looking at the world going, something's about to explode and bad times are coming. They can feel it in their bones. So they know that, hey, there's something going on where we need to start preparing for the worst. You know, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So all these things are coming to pass, and it's biblical. It's just what the Bible is speaking about. So without further ado, let's figure out what is the New World Order. Let's explain this. We'll look at history. We'll look at facts. We'll look at the Bible. And I've studied this a lot. I was blessed to have learned this. My dad did a lot of studying on this. The Bible school I went to, they talked about this. I mean, this is stuff that we just study and we know. And we take for granted sometimes that everybody else knows this. But it's fun to go talk to somebody about these things and watch them go and get this kind of a blank look on their face like, what are you talking about? So it becomes clear a lot of times a lot of people don't know this. And we that are Christians and Bible believers, we kind of think, well, everybody knows this, but they don't. So sometimes we have to kind of realize, hey, we need to start at the beginning and explain it so that everybody gets on the same page, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
We have to go straight into like the Alex Jones thing where, everything is a conspiracy. Everything is a conspiracy. The moon is a conspiracy. Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned Alex Jones. He's probably the most known as, they call him a conspiracy theorist because for all these 20 years or so, he's talked about the New World Order. And they say, oh, that's so silly. There's no such thing. And yet, there is such a thing, and it's coming out now. So he was right. He's not a theorist. He's telling you the truth. But he's telling it from a secular. But he's telling it from a sexual. Where did that come from? I can't say secular. A secular. That's where he's coming from. And we as Christians, we're coming from the biblical side. So we're not going to talk about it and then say, fight the New World Order. The only way to fight the New World Order is to win people to Jesus.
Yes.
Because that's one less person that the devil will have to rule over.
I think
Exactly
that's
wrong.
what we fight.
That's when I made my pretty much conversion when I'm delving into watching David Icke and watching the Seventh-day Adventist stuff and other Bible people out there. And that's what kind of made my conversion where I just I have the T-shirt, I have the Alex Jones T-shirt, and I have the storable foods. I gave it all away because I'm like, the Bible says it's going to happen. It doesn't matter how many guns I got or anything. Bible says it's going to happen.
Exactly.
There's nothing I can do to stop it.
Exactly.
Right.
That's all
Exactly,
I can do is to save people spiritually.
Get people saved. It's a spiritual fight. It's a spiritual fight. Now, with that said, though, I store up food because who knows? Maybe I'm helping somebody in the tribulation.
Well, you're in Hurricane Valley, man.
Yeah,
You're
but
in
what
Hurricane Valley.
if I'm gone and that guy has 25 years worth of food now, so he doesn't have to take the mark of the beast? So it's not wrong to prepare.
No, honestly, stuff like storable food is kind of fun to make fun of. And colloidal silver and all these other things. They're good things to have on hand. All right? Everybody should always have at minimum a week's worth of food. At minimum.
A month or two. Yeah.
Well, for Hurricane Valley.
Yeah.
I could just
be snowed in up there for months at a time.
go into the cornfield, get me some corn. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Not when it's snowing out there. So the New World Order. What is the New World Order? It's also called globalism or the One World Order. Or the Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is, I guess, Latin. The NWO. The New World Order is this, you can call it a conspiracy, and that doesn't downgrade the fact that it's true. It is true that the world's governments are conspiring together to bring in a one world government, which we would call globalism.
Yep.
And the desire of these people that are doing this, and many of them are Satanists and Luciferians, is to have a one world government in which one man rules over the entire world. Now, what does that sound like to you? Antichrist.
Yep. Exactly
when
right.
a Christian hears that, they go, "Oh yeah, that's the Antichrist. That happens in the tribulation. That's what the Bible says."
Yep.
But you say that to your typical guy, that's out on the street that doesn't know anything, that watches the liberal news media and doesn't know anything about the Bible. He says, "Oh, that'll never happen. That's ridiculous." What do you mean it'll never happen? It is happening.
Yep.
All the governments are working together to bring in a one world government. That's what they want. That's what the European Union was. All getting
Exactly
together.
right.
And they're United Nations. Get us all together into one united world.
And then we have they've been trying to do the Amero forever.
Yeah. You know, the Amero is uniting Canada and all of America to a one world Amero dollar. In Europe, they have the euro, so they tried to get the Amero. And then one day they'll unite Africa and they'll call it the Afro.
Right, yeah.
That was a bad joke. But you know, they're trying to get all the world together in many different ways. They're trying to get it together in the government. They're trying to get it a financial one world. What would a financial one world thing look like? Why, it would be the mark of the beast. Right hand or forehead, everyone has the same mark and the same way of buying and selling. So it's all coming together, just like the Bible said, the New World Order.
As of today, I saw in Drudge Report that it was a big deal because Trump basically said that they're working with China to standardize the dollar because China doesn't want to use our dollars. And we are tired of them manipulating their own dollar and their own valuation of the dollar.
Oh boy.
So they're talking about, well, we can have a different dollar that we just use.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, well, China bought up most of the debt of America, so China wants to take over America, and that's one of the good things about Trump. Say what you will about the man, he sees the threat, and the threat isn't Russia or this or that. China is the threat. China wants to take over America, and they've manipulated their own currency so much to try to make our dollar so weak that we don't need them. And it looks like Trump is very smart, and he's always seen the problem of them. Now, I don't believe Trump is a saved man. The other day, somebody told me that Trump got saved by Franklin Graham witnessing to him. I don't know. I have no idea. But
Graham's preach a bloodless gospel, a false gospel. And I believe Billy Graham's in hell right now.
That raises the question, is Trump a globalist? All of the other presidents we've had, many back, were globalists. They were working to bring in the New World Order. And Trump seems to be against that. So is he? That's what he's portraying himself as, is an anti-globalist, an anti-New World Order. Is he? That's the question. Well, when I watch the guy and I see him, it looks like he's trying to go against it. My some family I have, my family thinks that he is just putting on a show. And that's possible. It could just be that, but for him, it's not globalism. For him, it's America first.
Yep.
That's an anti-globalist message. That's no, we want our sovereignty. We want our borders. We want our country. We don't want some guy on the other side of the world ruling us. We want us to rule ourselves. And so for that reason, I like Trump. I think he seems to be good. What he's doing, I see him doing a lot of good. But the main way that Satan rules is by using banking. Satan uses the Rothschilds to set up the banking system, the international banking system. And there's been several times when Trump has gone bankrupt. So I have some family that thinks because of that, the international bankers told them, we'll make a deal with you, you're no longer bankrupt, here's money if you'll just do our bidding. So I don't know, maybe he's setting it up somehow to eventually bring in the one world government, or maybe he's going against it. It'll be interesting to see.
He's gone bankrupt several times through his businesses, but not him personally.
Right.
And that's like Benjamin Franklin went bankrupt like 14 times. And he was one of the guys who actually put in the bankruptcy laws. I mean, that was his business.
To help him.
Yeah, I mean, start a business, you put money into it, it doesn't work out, you declare bankruptcy. So you don't pay your debts. But
right.
I don't think Trump ever personally went bankrupt.
So what you got is man has always been hell-bent on world domination. Man has always wanted to rule the world. And where do we get that from? Where do we get that? I would never want to be the head of the entire world. Can you imagine how many problems you would have?
Yeah.
Imagine if you were the ruler of the world.
You know how many problems you have just trying to be the head of the household?
Yeah, you know how many problems you have just having a house and living in it?
Maybe the head of the block? Head of the block? No.
No thanks.
Because just go play in the garage.
So people that have this desire to take over and rule over other people and put people down so that they can lift themselves up, many of them are full of pride. And that, of course, will be the first sin. Satan's sin was the sin of pride. And then envy. He was envious of Jesus. So I guess the best place to start would be Isaiah chapter 14, where Satan is. Because a lot of this New World Order thing, it comes from the mind of Satan. Because the entire plan is so that Satan can rule the world. And that's what he wants. He is actively working around the world with his minions to bring in the New World Order for a purpose, so that he can take over the world. And that's what the Bible teaches, and he will in the form of the Antichrist. But Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 through 15, here's Satan when he fell. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. So Satan has the throne. And his thought was, you know what? I'm just going to go put my throne up in heaven and kick God out. He's the first rebel. He's trying to rebel. He's the revolutionary, the first communist. He wants to take over. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. I love that verse. Amen. So Satan doesn't win. If you are a Luciferian, if you join Lucifer, if you want to join the Illuminati, that's another term, the people that are wanting to bring in this one world government, the Illuminati, you're not going to win. You're going to be on the side that goes down to the pit, down to hell.
Exactly.
Satan, when he does take over, he only gets 7 years. That's it.
Which is very interesting about that whole thing of people who are in the Freemasons and are in the Illuminati, or called the Brights, or whatever you want to call them. People who are in these organizations. A lot of people don't know that they're actively worshiping Lucifer,
Yep.
but there are a lot who do. So they believe in Lucifer. They really, really believe in Lucifer.
Yep.
But if you believe in Lucifer, you get Lucifer from the Bible, and God says he's going to take him out. So what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point of following the guy who you know is going to get taken out?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the point?
That's
You say
right.
loser, how the hell should loser, you're a loser if you follow the Lucy guy.
Yep.
Because he's a loser.
Exactly
And it's really
right.
sad that people think that he's the one that's the side of power and money and riches. And he is, because he's the God of this world, the Bible says, the little g. But it's only for a temporal. I mean, it's however long you live, and if the rapture takes place, it's 7 more years, and that's it. But eternity is how long you'll spend in hell for serving him.
Exactly
So it's
right.
better to come to Jesus and have all eternity with Jesus to enjoy life and everything. So it's really sad that a lot of people will serve Lucifer, but they do. And we'll look at those a little bit later. The Masons, the Illuminati, the Skull and Bones, the Bilderbergers, all these different groups that, whether they know it or not, they are actively working for Satan to help bring in his kingdom.
That's right,
Someone
Rob.
wrote Lucifer. That's right, he's a loser. So all the way through the Bible, we find this theme over and over: is someone taking over the world. What was it? Babylon, and then the Medo-Persians, and then the Romans. Well, the Greeks first, the Greeks, and then the Romans, and they take over the world. And that's always been in the heart of man, to want to take over the world. And when they do, guess who's usually behind, or I guess you could say inside of the ruler? The devil. The devil's always behind it. And these people that rule, they're scum.
Yep.
They're the worst of the worst. That's what's so
Exactly,
sad.
Rob.
You very seldom find a righteous ruler. It's usually a man full of pride that just wants to take over in order to enslave people and put others down and treat them bad. So those that want to take over the world, like Pinky in the Brain, try to take over the world, Pinky, it's usually because they're evil. Good people don't want to abuse other people and take away their rights. Good people respect other people and want them to have rights. And that's why America was such an amazing nation, because it was all about the rights of the individual. And it was all about the rights of the state. And now we're losing those rights. It's all about the state taking over, which is the federal, which will eventually be the global government taking over. But in the Bible, we have one of the first times when Satan sees his New World Order coming to fruition in the book of Genesis, chapter 10. And we have a guy named Nimrod. And Genesis chapter 10 is the first big dude, evil dude, to take over the world. Genesis chapter 10.
And verse insult on the schoolyard.
What's that?
Nimrod. Nimrod.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how in the Bible there's people and their names are remembered for who they were, what they were, and today we don't use those names. You never hear a person name their son Nimrod.
Yep.
Oh no.
You never see a man or a woman name their daughter Jezebel.
No.
I mean, this is the scum of the earth people, and they were rulers who tried to take over and steal and cheat and lie as they tried to rule. Nobody wants a child like that. I think that's funny. And so we say Nimrod is somebody who we say is a fool or a moron. You Nimrod.
Yep.
That's funny. So Genesis 10:6 through 12, and the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Sheba, and Havilah, and it goes on the names of the son. And then in verse 8 it says, and Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was the mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. And out of that land went forth Asher, and built Nineveh, the city of Rehoboth, and on. Verse 12 talks about Nineveh and Calah, the same as a great city. All right, so Nimrod set up Babel. That's where Babylon eventually comes from. So we did a couple of weeks ago the Mystery of Babylon. And what's interesting is how this ties back to that. And how we talk about Mystery of Babylon today, it's all about that building of that kingdom of Satan. And it all ties back to this point, which is kind of interesting. So that might spark you to go back and watch that one again as well. But if you know your history, what happened, this guy named Nimrod kind of took over the whole area. And he had a wife named Semiramis. And then they had a child named Tammuz. And all of the idol worship in the world was started in Babylon. And so you have idol worship. And what is idol worship? Most of the time, it's a woman with a baby. And that's Semiramis and Tammuz. And they all throughout the world, the idol worship was the worship of a woman and her child. Which today, you see in Catholic churches, they say it's Mary and Jesus. But it's images. God says not to build images, don't make idols, things like that. So the first attempt at a New World Order, or a New World Government, or one world order, was Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 through 9. And this is the Tower of Babel. I get so frustrated sometimes when people say Babel. No, it's the Tower of Babel. What is the person doing when they're just talking and talking? We say, quit babbling on. You know, they're babbling. So it's the Tower of Babel, not Babel. I don't know why people say that, but they do. But anyway, and we call it Babylon, not Babylon, or something like that. So this is Babylon. This is the Tower of Babylon. Look what happens here. Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 through 9. And the whole earth was one language and one speech. Okay? And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Now Shinar, well, that's where Nimrod set up Babylon. And they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime they had for mortar. And they said, let us go, and they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach into what? Heaven. That almost sounds like Lucifer. He wanted to get up into heaven to kick God out. So as I read this passage, I don't see just people going, hey, let's go do this. I see the devil behind it.
Yep.
Trying to get them to do this. He's planning in their mind this one world idea of a one world government because he knows when he gets that, then he can come take it over. And so they say, let's build this top, may reach into heaven. Let's make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore the name of it is called Babel. Why? Because they sounded like they were babbling.
Yep.
Because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. So what does man try to do? When man gets together, what do? They kick God out. So it almost sounds like God doesn't want man to get together. They live better when they're out kind of in the country on their own, apart from everyone.
Yep.
When they all start getting together, that's when the messes start. You go to any big city like New York or Paris or something.
Detroit.
Or Detroit. There's crime everywhere. The Bible says, woe unto them that build house in the house. It's not a good thing to be able to see your neighbors. Fence posts make good neighbors. There's enough land in the world to where everybody alive today could have 100 acres, probably 1,000 acres. Someone said you could take the entire population of 7 or 8 billion people and put them within the city limits of Jacksonville, Florida, and they're all standing up next to each other, and the whole world would fit within the city limits. That's a really big city.
No,
So there's so there's plenty of room in the world for people. Why is it they seem to always want to live right next to each other, right on top of each other? Literally. Like, shut up there, you know.
It's urban sprawl, man. It's urban sprawl.
It's not a good thing to get together. It's a good thing to separate and get apart if you can. Now, unfortunately, some people can't. You know, you live where you live or whatever. But that's the first attempt at the one world government. And what did God show us he thought of it? Ain't gonna happen.
Exactly right.
No. So we see that at the beginning of the Bible. We see that's what the devil wanted then. Now, what about now? Let's go to 2 Thessalonians. And there's some scriptures. I'm just going to give you a couple of scriptures on this. And then we'll talk about some other things. But 2 Thessalonians, the Bible tells us that the Antichrist, or well, actually Lucifer himself, is going to keep doing this. And all throughout history, he's done it. And so all these people that take over different countries and different rulers, I believe they were literally possessed by Satan.
Yep.
I believe they literally had Satan inside of them. The Caesars of Rome, Alexander the Great, you know, different rulers. I believe they literally had Satan inside of them. And I could prove that, but I don't have time to show you that in Scripture. But there's times when God goes and talks to, like, the king of Cyrus. And he's talking to the king of Cyrus, and he said, you were in the Garden of Eden. No, he wasn't. The king of Cyrus wasn't alive in the Garden of Eden. Who is he talking to? He's talking to Satan inside the king of Cyrus.
Yep.
Which is kind of interesting. Is that Ezekiel 28, I believe? So here we have 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things? So there's going to be a time in history, the Bible says, this is a prophecy, in which the Antichrist, which will be Satan incarnate, now he starts his first 3.5 years as a man called the Beast. I believe he's assassinated according to Revelation. And in the middle of that 3.5 years, or 7 years, at the end of that 3.5 years, that's when Satan literally enters into him. So that's why he's given two names here: the man of sin, first 3.5 years, and then the son of perdition, which was Lucifer. Who was that guy in Jesus' ministry? Judas. Judas was called the son of perdition. Right. And the Bible says about Judas, and the devil entered into him. So we have all these things over there in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and we're seeing it here. So when the devil comes into that Antichrist figure, his goal is to sit on a throne and tell the whole world, I am God. Just what he wanted at the beginning in Isaiah chapter 14. And now look what it says will happen with him. Look at let's skip down to verse 10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they all should believe a lie, and that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in righteousness. So this Satan, this Antichrist comes and he deceives people to get the world to come after him. And he comes with, verse 9, power and signs and lying wonders. And then the whole world at that time will then be under the New World Order, a one world global government. And they'll say, man, yeah, he's our God. Look at him. Look at all the miracles that he can do. Isn't he great? No. He's the devil incarnate. And you're worshiping him like he's God. And he's not.
No, it's like in Thessalonians 2, we're talking about the great falling away. Every denomination out there uses this as some sort of a proof text where if you don't believe like me, you must be falling away. And it's like, no, that's not what they're talking about. Talking about falling away from God in general, not because I decide I don't like how the Lutherans are doing their business, so I'm going to go off and go be a Methodist. That's not what they're talking about falling away. They're talking about falling away in general. And, you know, for a long time, people have been brought up basically the religion of atheism and evolutionism is basically, that's what I see as the falling away.
If you believe in Christ, even if you have not the best book or not the best doctrine, if you still believe in Christ, that's pretty much the important thing.
Yep.
The falling away is that maybe you're brought up in that oh, maybe we came from monkeys and there is no God, that sort of thing.
Right. And we clearly see that in the world. In the 1800s, missionaries had gone around the world. In the world, even though they might not have all been saved, it was very moral because so many people adopted the teachings of the Bible. If they weren't saved, at least they believed there was a God. And there were many places in the world where they were just moral, clean, nice people.
Isn't
And
it
that was
funny?
wonderful.
Isn't
And
that
it's not like that.
how you can go out into the jungles, okay, South America. You can go out into all these remote tribes and the pygmies and even Native Americans here, and you can go out there and they always believed in God. Naturally, innately believed in God. And it wasn't until, what?
Darwin.
Yeah, well, the 1800
Yeah.
area where it's like people come in with their big brain on and they go, nope, everything was created by nothing and there is no God. Huh? Naturally,
There is.
nobody would draw that conclusion.
No.
Nobody's ever drawn
God of the
that
Bible is
conclusion.
You can't go out and look at the
It's
night sky and
real.
see the stars and think, wow, what a great accident. You think, wow, there must be a creator that made this because this is spectacular.
Yep.
And to see how it does its order and everything is just incredible.
Yep.
So you had in the 1800s Queen Victoria. And even today we talk about the Victorian morals of people. People had what they called Victorian morals, which were, if a woman shows her ankle, she's showing her nakedness, you know? And you go to modern colleges, they make fun. Oh, the Victorian people. Well, yeah, but at least they had morals. I mean, they weren't a bunch of floozies sleeping around. They believed in not sleeping around, not doing bad things, being clean. If a man were to swear in public, he'd blush because he wouldn't do that in public. He felt bad in front of children, you know, to do.
Right.
So there were all these morals that people had. And we see in the 1960s, well, actually before that, we see the First World War, men going off as soldiers and coming back. We see the Second World War, men going off as soldiers and come back. Usually men go off as soldiers, they go look for prostitutes and they do bad stuff when they're away from home. And then in the 1960s, what did you have? Oh, we got to rebel against morals, man. We got to have free love. Well, we got to go out and get drunk and fornicate in the mud at Woodstock and take drugs and act stupid and do dumb things and free ourselves from the morals of our fathers. No, we don't. Our fathers did good. We don't need to be free from that. So we see that rebellion coming and being bred in the 60s, I think, more than anything. People that I've known that were born before the 60s, they said the 1950s were the best time in the history of the world to live. My dad told the story one time that my grandpa took him and his brother and his sister and my grandmother. They went on a 3-month vacation, and they went all over out west. They saw the Grand Canyon. My grandpa took $300 out of the bank. They were gone for several months, and they came back. He put $200 back in the bank. A 3-month vacation was $100. A hotel room was like $100. I mean, what? And everything was silver money. I mean, can you imagine how great it would have been to live in the 1950s? And now we live in Craftsville.
Nice car.
Everything's fake. Yeah.
Nice car was $500.
Oh yeah. Everything was so much cleaner and nicer and everything else. So that's the change we've seen in our lifetime. A great change. I personally have seen a change. I'm only 44 years old, but I remember as a kid, you go to the store, you don't lock your doors in your car. You leave the house. You leave the house door unlocked. You don't lock the doors. Now, no, we lock the door every night. Honey, is the door locked? I mean, now you really see a great change in the world just in my lifetime as how evil things have become. And what is that? That's the prophecy in the Bible. In the last days, perilous times shall come. And that's what we're seeing. So it all ties into the Bible. Now, Revelation 12:9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, who is speaking of Lucifer, which deceiveth the whole world. And he was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So what is the goal of Satan? To deceive the world. He wants to take over the world in order to deceive the world. And then chapter 13, and I'll read the whole chapter here. I only have one more verse after this. But Revelation chapter 13, here we can hear about the one world order of the Antichrist and Satan. Revelation 13:1, I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, upon his horns 10 crowns, upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was likened to a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth was the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Well, the dragon will be Satan. So Satan allowed this man to take over the world and have power. Verse 3, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power to the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast who is able to make war with him? And then verse 3 says, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. So if the tribulation period after the rapture is 7 years, then he continues 3.5 years. 42 months is 3.5 years. So I see the beast, the Antichrist, the man, 3.5 years, and then the devil inside of him for the last 3.5 years. And so he was given, verse 6 I skipped. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God, blasphemed his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. Verse 7, it was given unto him to make war with the saints and overcome them. And power was given him over, now watch this, all kindreds, all tongues, and nations. So the devil gets the whole world. This is your new world order. He does get the entire world. Every nation, every tongue, all kindreds. He is the one ruler over the one world government. And it says, all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. So that's a global one earth or one world system.
And right now we have that through the UN, don't you think?
Yes, the United Nations is that, and we'll talk a little bit more about the United Nations here in a minute. But I firmly believe that the United Nations will be the one that gives power to the Antichrist.
Right, this will be the end of part 1. I'll continue part 2 from this point. Right? So from that point. Okay.